Warning! We're about to spoil Evil Dead 2. If you haven't seen the movie, and you plan on watching it, leave now and come back later. But if you have seen it, or you just don't care, then please, stick around.
All is going according to plan. What should we do next to the humans?
Ooh, well, I was thinking that I might take a door and slam it on them multiple times just to fuck with them.
Ooh. Yes, and then I can spray blood from the walls like hoses.
Whoa! You're going to clean it up afterwards, right?
Oh my god, of course.
Oh,
We're not gonna make the place a mess.
Oh.
Like, jeez.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Cinema Roulette. We are back, and we are on the series wheel yet again.
We're on the series wheel, covering a series we have not touched in 5 years.
Literally half a decade since we've covered this.
Technically, it will be 6 in September.
Yeah. Crazy to think about. But yes, any more banter, because I feel like this is going to be a fun one.
I will say this is one of those movies where you should watch it if you haven't.
Yeah.
Like, even if you haven't seen the first movie of this series, you can watch this one no problem. I'd even say for some squeamish people, like, there's blood, but it's comedic.
Yeah, it's very like over the top and almost like cartoonish way.
Yeah, it's not gory in a way that's like, oh, look at how real it is. This is like paint most of the time.
Exactly. And it's basically a remake of the first movie. So, what movie are we talking about? Well, my friends, that would be Sam Raimi's Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn.
No one says the subtitle.
Shut up. Oh, I know.
All right, though.
Ah, yeah. I know, Silence. I know. Saying they're all judgmental.
Such a bitch.
Hey now, don't insult the Silence like that.
Pretty sure there's a movie called The Silence.
There was. And there was also The Silence from Doctor Who.
True. Was that the gas mask one?
No, that was a different one. The Silence, I think that's the one with like the almost squid-like face, the gray skin.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not here to talk about that.
We're not here to talk about British things.
No.
We're here to talk about America.
Yes, some young film entrepreneurs finally getting a budget.
After the first time they got a budget from dentists.
Yes.
But yeah, Evil Dead 2.
Oh, this is a fun one because this is one of my favorite movies in general of all time, and I think I can say the same for Justin.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite horror movie of all time.
Yeah, so good.
I will say, there's a part of me that when we watched it for the episode, I was a bit tired of it because if we went over like the past 6 months, I've seen it 2 times beforehand.
Yeah. It is just a film that's just endlessly rewatchable. It's just as enjoyable every time I watch it, honestly.
I will say, 3 times in a row, 6 months, there's a little bit of tiring, but if I take a break for like a year and then come back to it, it's like, yes!
Oh yeah, it'll be like, fuck yeah.
And I'll get into why I think it's the best horror movie, but first we should do synopsis, unless we have other banter things.
Yes, I think that's about it.
So, actually, we'll do a little behind the scenes thing that I think most people know already. The movie was supposed to open where the last movie left off, of something coming at Ash out of the cabin after all of his friends are dead. However, for some reason, Sam Raimi didn't have the rights to the first movie. I still don't know the legal jargon as to why. So, we're going to do basically a quick recap of the original, but also it's slightly different, which makes the continuity start to already get confusing.
Yeah, and I don't think they actually got back the rights of the first movie until like the second or third season of filming Ash vs. Evil Dead, because then they were able to show flashbacks from it.
I thought they did have it at the beginning of Ash vs. Evil Dead. It was Army of Darkness that was having issues.
Actually, you're right, it's kind of that too. So, just in general, there was a bunch of legal issues behind the production of these movies.
Yeah, horror in the 80s was copyright hell. Just look into Friday the 13th's problems.
Oh my goodness, Friday the 13th. Yeah, like so many different companies were making them that to get a complete collection was just a bitch for the longest time.
I think Freddy, Chucky, and Leatherface were the only ones who didn't have some type of legalese issue.
Pretty much, yeah. I think those were the only ones. Like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, I think did. Well, no, Freddy, you're right, but yeah, the Evil Dead did. Just a bunch of other ones.
I don't remember if Halloween did or didn't.
It did, I believe, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, as a slight recap of the first movie, Ash and just his girlfriend go to a cabin. The cabin, they're having some lovey-dovey time. Ash is playing the piano. But after his girlfriend wants to get ready, he goes back into the front room of the cabin and notices a tape recorder there, which they didn't notice when they first walked in somehow. And his girlfriend's like, yeah, sure, play it, see what's on it. Oh, also we had an intro explain Book of the Dead.
Yes.
It's Necronomicon, written human blood on flesh. It was lost in the 1300s. I'm sure that's not important for anything later. As he plays the recording, an old man is on there talking about the Necronomicon, which is also on the table. And he reads aloud from it. Right after this, something breaks in through the side of the cabin and attacks Linda, his girlfriend. He goes to look for her. She's being a spooky possessed bitch, chops her head off with a shovel, buries her, goes back inside, is suddenly attacked by an invisible force that sends him flying through the air. He slams into a tree and gets knocked out. There you are. We have finished the first Evil Dead.
Yep.
I'm surprised there hasn't been an edit released by Sam Raimi where it just starts from that point.
Yeah,
like
and it just keeps going.
Or like how Kill Bill now has the whole bloody affair.
Yeah.
Do something like that with Evil Dead. I mean, sure, continuity-wise of who's
Yeah.
playing Ash's girlfriend gets weird, but continuity isn't really cared about too much in these first two movies.
Or if you want like a Lord of the Rings epic, take the ending of this, which we'll get to, and put in the beginning of Army of Darkness.
That gets more confusing, though.
Continuity schmontinuity, man.
Fair enough!
But I'm saying chop out the bit they shot for this movie, and instead, that's after that happens, start it from like Army of Darkness.
Oh, so kind of take away the flashback in Army of Darkness, put that at the beginning. Gotcha. Yeah, that would make sense.
That would just flow into Army of Darkness.
That'd actually be really cool. I'd watch the whole thing if it was all three movies.
Yeah.
Anyway, God, tangents galore this episode. But Ash is in a dirty puddle. He sticks his head up, and he is possessed. His eyes are milky white. His face is all fucked up. But luckily, the sun is here. The sun cures him of demonism, and Ash, being a slightly smarter person than most horror movie characters, goes, I need to fucking go.
Yeah.
He tries to leave, but the bridge they came in on is completely destroyed. So he's stuck there.
Yep.
However, and already by now the sun is going down, so something, we don't really get to see what it is, but something chases after him. runs back to the cabin, runs around the cabin as the thing chases him in a very impressive one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's not technically a one shot, there was a cut there because the outside of the cabin was in a completely different
Yep.
location than the inside of the cabin. Besides the point,
It was seamless and cool.
it is seamless. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But Ash is able to hide from it, it goes away, and he quickly boards up all the windows. We cut, though, out to the airport, where we meet Annie and Ed, Annie is the daughter of the two people that were living in the cabin who were looking at the Necronomicon.
Yep.
She was also on the adventure with them where they found the thing, and also a cool dagger. Annie and her husband, Ed, are hanging up to the cabin now. We cut back to Ash. He's finished barricading the place, and all of a sudden, he hears something. Some of the barricades fall down, and he peeks outside. Linda's back.
Yay!
Her her clothes are torn, and her rotting corpse rises as her head rolls back, and she does a little dance, and then goes. Whee! I'd like to know in the commentary, even I don't think it was Sam Raimi. It was whoever did the effects. He's like, I fucking love her wee.
It's so great, the noise she makes as she jumps into the darkness.
I'll probably shove it in here just because I love it so much.
Please do.
But after she disappears, she reappears in front of the window and grabs Ash through the barricade, slams his head into the wall, and he doesn't know what to do, and then he wakes up in a chair. It must have been a dream. He's so scared he can't even scream, but he sits there for a moment, taking his breath, and then Linda's head falls into his lap. All of a sudden, it bites his hand and is just not letting go. So he's running around, slamming against walls, and eventually heads to the shed. Goes in the shed, sticks her head in a vice grip, and tightens it real quick. She lets go, and he reaches up and is like, for what he just assumes a chainsaw would be, I guess. But all there is the cartoonish chalk outline of a chainsaw. Where's the chainsaw? Linda happily brings it to him. Well, her body does, trying to stab him.
Yes.
Luckily, Ash grabs a crowbar, hits it up, and it chainsaws back into the body as it still rams against him. It was originally supposed to die there, just die after that, but they thought it'd be way funnier. The body dies. The deadite Linda tries to do its normal trick of turning back into the person, be like, Ash, I'm scared.
Yep.
He has a dramatic moment. The dad gives this up for gives up the charade for some reason, and he chainsaws her head in half. Well, we have a chainsaw now. Ash goes back in the cabin, but realizes, oh, there's a fucking shotgun here, and decides to leave the chainsaw on the floor and keep a double barrel, because, yeah, shotgun works better than a chainsaw for killing most things.
Yeah. Not much is shotgun proof.
But he's having a bit of a mental breakdown, having to kill his girlfriend twice. Goes up to a mirror, and he's like, you're all right. And then other him through the mirror reaches and grabs him and goes, we just chopped up our girlfriend. Does that sound all right to you? I just love this gag. Also, in the commentary track, they say this is the first time we technically see evil Ash, who we'll see in Army of Darkness.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Because it's hard to make out in the scene, but the one from the mirror has like thicker eyebrows to be evil.
Okay. I did kind of notice that, yeah. I didn't know if that was that just makeup to try and make him look like Bruce Campbell, or if that was deliberate.
No, the only time there wasn't Bruce Campbell is when we're looking into the mirror from behind Ash. That was someone that was some high schooler who looked like Bruce.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, I know.
Which they did go through the trouble of rebuilding the side of the cabin to get that mirror shot.
Nice.
You were about to say, though?
What was I about to say? What were we just talking about?
I don't know. The high school, they had a stand-in.
N- no, I thought that was for the mirror scene. I think I was just adding to that.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you were about to go on a different tangent, so I was like,
It did. Actually, I do kind of remember that, but it's gone now. So moving on.
there was a thought here. It's
Yeah.
gone now.
I think I stopped saying it just because it was going to be redundant.
But okay, after the mirror being weird, and killing his girlfriend a second time, everything is so. Oh god damn it, his hand's infected.
Yep.
Give me back my hand. Anyway, let's see how Annie and Ed are doing.
Yep.
Annie and Ed make it to the bridge, but they see someone setting up a roadblock. This is Jake, and he also has his girl, who I think is his girlfriend. They never really say.
No,
But
they
it's
don't.
Jake and Bobby Joe.
I just love saying that name, Baba Joe.
Bobby Joe, the most redneck name you could give a person.
It really is.
But yeah, they can't get to the cabin. Bridge is out, and Annie's kind of worried and like, well, there has to be a trail or something. And of course, Jake knows a trail. He can show you for $100.
Exactly.
And Annie says, fine, but you have to carry the luggage. Jake, of course, seeing only the handbag, thinks that's fine. She actually has a large suitcase.
Yeah.
Of, like, not even a suitcase, a trunk.
Yeah, it's like a full-on like tote almost.
I'm surprised there wasn't anything to grab out of the trunk when shit starts hitting the fan more, but
Yeah.
I digress.
I know, right?
So they're taking the trail, and we cut back to Ash, who is hitting himself a lot. Fantastic fight with his own hand. The hand is about to eventually knocks him out and is about to grab a meat cleaver to finish him off, but Ash stabs the hand, grabs the chainsaw, and chops it off.
And this is how Ash loses his hand, and it will be gone for the rest of the series.
Yep. Well, we still have a bit more with it here.
Well, yeah, in this movie. But yeah, moving onward, that's kind of his whole thing. He doesn't have a hand.
Well, you don't exactly grow those back.
Yeah.
So I've heard. But Ash patches up his wound. He sticks the hand under a bucket instead of just leaving the knife in it. Look, I love the movie. I didn't say it's a perfect movie.
That knife would come in real handy. Kill me.
Oh, so he put the book Farewell to Arms on top of it to help weigh it down. Good bit, Sam.
Good bits.
But while he's patching himself up and reloading the shotgun, the hand is able to escape the bucket and slides into a big old mouse hole in the walls. Ash tries shooting at it, misses, and tries to reload. The hand mockingly is like tapping its long, evil nails, but then it hits a mousetrap, causing Ash to laugh. Ash does seemingly shoot it through the wall, but then right after, a literal geyser of blood shoots out from the wall, and then shoots out from other holes in the wall. It covers him, and then it turns into black blood, and then it all reverses back to keep the room clean, but he is still covered in it.
I have a fun behind-the-scenes fact about that later.
Fun.
Also, wow, my voice just broke there.
Calling back to Evil Dead 1, I see.
Yes. Good bit.
But Ash, already tired of everything that's happened tonight, goes to sit down. The chair breaks. And then a deer head on the wall starts laughing at him. The entire room starts laughing. Books, the trash can, the lamps. He even kind of joins in on the madness and starts laughing himself. Everyone's having a lovely time. Suddenly there's noise outside and he shoots first, asks questions later.
Yeah. Smart, honestly, after what's happened.
Yeah, I'll keep nitpicking little dumb things because it's a horror movie. But this does make sense of he saw the bridges out. anything else that makes a noise at the moment, he would assume is a deadite.
Yeah, exactly. That makes. I do not blame Ash at all for shooting at them.
He does, however, go up to open the door and check outside. Doesn't see anything right away. Backs up a bit, and suddenly, I said his name already. Let me look. Jake. Jake comes in, tackles Ash to the ground, but Ash is still able to punch him. Ed comes in, holds down Ash's arms. Jake knocks him unconscious with a punch. Annie comes in. Bobby Joe's got hit in the shoulder, sort of. We never see her bleed from there.
Yeah,
she just kind of goes, ow.
Yeah, she just holds it. Yeah, it's like arcade logic. If you shoot a pedestrian, they just fall on their knees and go, ow.
There was nothing we could do.
Yes. If you get that reference, you have good taste, friends.
But Annie comes in. They see the cabin's torn to shit. Doesn't see her parents anywhere and sees a bloody chainsaw. So they assume he killed them.
Yeah.
They toss him in a nearby cellar, lock it up, and try to figure out where her parents might be. They did look around, don't find anything, but they must have come to the cabin because her father's things are here. So they turn on the tape and continue it playing. On the recording, her father says his wife Henrietta tried to attack him because whatever the words he read clearly released an evil. He killed her but didn't have the heart to chop up her body, so she's buried in the cellar.
Ooh.
And then Ted Raimi's in the movie. Hi, Ted!
Hey, Ted!
Or Henrietta's corpse, who starts trying to attack Ash. Ash is panicking and goes up to the cellar door. He's like, let me out, let me out, let me out, oh my god! Luckily, they get him out right before Henrietta can attack him and pull him up by his head. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Jake is country strong, so that works.
Laws of physics don't apply to those country folks.
And also, I'll give Ed this, because he seems sort of like he'd be a pompous prick, but as soon as Henrietta sticks her head out, he fucking runs up and starts trying to punch this thing.
Yeah. Like, he may have gotten his ass handed to him, but he just, like, threw hands at a demon.
Yeah, no questions asked, just fuck that. Boom.
Yeah.
But as Cameron said, Henrietta grabs Ed by the face, tosses him aside, and he bonks his head against the wall, and he's unconscious. Ash takes a moment to recoup, runs over and closes the cellar door, stomps it down, which sends an eyeball flying into Bobby Joe's mouth, which, depending on the version you watch, will either have a fake fishing line or won't.
Yeah. It was removed for some of the later Blu-ray editions.
Jake and Ash hold down the... Well, Jake fucking kicks Henrietta in the face, which I love every time.
It is a great shot, because you can tell it's a dummy, because he just goes at just whap!
It's just a whole ass hard kick.
Yeah.
They hold down the cellar door. Henrietta gives up, and then there's a bit of a time lapse where, assumedly, Ash explains, yo, shit's going wrong here. And after a little bit of chatting, Ed, I guess from just having his face touched by the claws, was infected.
Something like that. Even though the eyeball doesn't seem to affect the other person.
Yeah, Bobby Joe's fine.
Yeah.
What? Deadite infection is very inconsistent throughout the series.
Yeah.
So Ed starts attacking and goes to help Henrietta out of the cellar. Ash runs off, grabs an axe, chops up Ed. So that problem is at least solved. Ed is dead.
Yeah.
Another bit of a time jump, and also the demons happily clean up all of Ed's blood. I'd like to note, this movie did have someone for continuity, and she hated everyone.
Really?
Anyway. Well, she didn't actually hate everyone, but she did get annoyed very often when they kept getting blood wrong.
So funny.
Uh, Jake takes a look outside and notices that the path they took to get here is suddenly gone. So there's no more trail, there's no bridge. We're stuck till morning. There's also a moment of silence and then a bunch of weird noises from outside, and Bruce gets a Cordy line.
Yeah.
Something's trying to enter our world. But then they hear a noise from another room in the cabin. Ash says, "We'll go together." I love this scene just because Jake immediately goes, "No, you're the curious one."
Yeah.
Annie joins him. They go into the room and there doesn't seem to be anything. But once Baba Joe and Jake bust in, the ghost of Annie's father appears. And he's like, "Your only salvation is in there." It's the pages of Necronomicon that she had that she was bringing to them in the first place. Assumably, they were buried somewhere else at the dig site.
Yeah.
But read the pages. Save my soul. Save yourselves.
I hadn't seen this movie at all. I'd forgotten about the scene where she literally talks to the spirit of her dead father.
Yeah, I did too. Honestly, it's probably the second worst effect in this movie.
Yeah. The other one being the eyes.
I did forget to mention that earlier when Ash ran to the bridge. A spooky face appeared to silhouette the cabin and said, "Join us."
Yeah.
Which he's already infected, so technically he already joined.
I know, right?
But yeah, Fires go do the thing. And during this, Bobby Joe says, "Jake, can you stop holding my hand so tight? I'm not holding your hand." Ash's hand is back!
Yay!
Bobby Joe freaks out so much she knocks out the lantern, which somehow turns off all the lights in the cabin. And by the time they light it, she's gone. We don't know where she came from, and we don't know where she went. She actually runs into the woods and gets treed. Not as bad as the first movie. She just gets dragged at high speed and then slammed into a tree, assumably dying.
Yeah. She just panicked, ran off, and then got grabbed.
They got her.
Yep.
What do you mean they got her? I liked her too. Looking through the pages, Annie sees that there were talks of this savior from the sky, and it's clearly Ash.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, in the book, it's Ash silhouetted in like the drawing. Yeah.
it's not even silhouette. It's a guy in a blue shirt with a
yeah.
chainsaw.
The savior.
But I'm sure that's nothing.
Nah.
Jake is being a dumbass, though, and really wants to go save Bobby Joe, so he grabs the shotgun and says, "We're going to go out there, we're going to find her, and then we're leaving." He also takes the pages and tosses them in the cellar, so that way the only option is to listen to him. They hardly get 20 feet from the cabin before he's just shouting about Bobby Joe! And we see the POV demon camera running up, but then nothing seems to happen. Well, I guess this movie's... Oh god, Ash is evil again. Evil Ash attacks, tossing Jake aside. Annie runs back into the cabin, grabs the evil-looking dagger, and prepares to stab whoever comes in first. Sadly, the first person who comes in is Jake. She accidentally stabs him in the chest. He's blocking the door as she tries to close it before Evil Ash can get in. Moves Jake enough, closes the door. Okay, we're safe now. She drags Jake to the front room again. I also love that he's complaining about being in pain for being stabbed, and she just eventually at one point goes, "Shut up! Just shut up!"
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm sorry, I was fucking stabbed.
I'm sorry, some asshole stabbed me. Who could that be?
Exactly. He gets just absolutely fucked in this movie. It's insane.
Yeah, because she leaves him right next to the cellar door. which Henrietta pops up, grabs, and pulls him in by the head. A lot of people being pulled by the head in this movie.
Yes.
But yeah, she pulls him into the basement, eats him up. He- Not Henrietta. Annie has an axe, and Ash comes in, attacks her and knocks her out. But right before he's about to give the finishing blow, he sees something on the ground. It's a necklace that he gave to his girlfriend at the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
which was also supposed to be important in the first Evil Dead movie, but they lost it. It was weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the whole thing.
Huh.
It was also supposed to show like you could burn the book. I don't remember the full behind the scenes of it, but they lost it at one point, and it was a pain in the ass.
That's funny.
I think it's even referenced in the 2013 Evil Dead.
Oh, nice.
Due to the fact he remembers his love and loss, he vanquishes the evil from himself, which I guess means Ed didn't love Annie enough. Or Ash's girlfriend didn't love him enough because looking straight at him didn't remind him of her love.
I guess.
Sure.
All right.
As Ash is calming down a bit because he's back to normal, Annie tries to hit him with an axe, stops her, and then is like, "I'm all right, it's fine."
Yeah.
Leans against the wall, relax. Annie swings at him again.
Such a nice,
So,
such a nice detail how she just almost immediately, like, she doesn't trust him immediately, and she's still very wary.
Well, because she saw her mother do the same thing earlier.
Yep.
There was a moment where Henrietta was like, a little bit, just turned into her mother and was like, "I'm fine now," before Ed turned evil.
Yes, that's right.
I forgot to mention. I apologize.
It's okay. This movie doesn't care about continuity either.
There. Either way, Ash convinces that he's all right, and then it's like, well, we need to get those pages. So we get a cool little gearing up montage where Bruce says the thing.
Yeah.
We also see Freddy Krueger's glove in the background. Neat.
Neato.
And we go into the fruit cellar and find these pages, which, again, are at least from the 1300s, yet they get hit by water and are perfectly fine. Yeah, they wouldn't disintegrate instantly.
Yeah.
Being pedantic again.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, through this entire trip in the cellar, Henrietta doesn't show up. I also like to note, before the setup montage, they're like, "We're going to have to go down there and kill us a witch."
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to Henrietta laughing with herself in the dark.
It's such a corny detail, but I love it. It's just that classic horror movie type thing.
It's a very silly, creepy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he finds all the pages in the cellar, goes back, tosses up to Annie. He's about to leave, but then Henrietta reaches through the bottom of the stairs and pulls him under and starts fighting Ash. Knocks him out for a second. Floats up to attack Annie. Luckily, Ash wakes up, goes up there and gives her a nice smile, you samba, and chops her up and blows off her head.
Hell yeah.
Swallow this.
Oh, it's so good.
However, Annie did read part of the passage before this happened, which that summons all of the evil to you, and it's pretty pissed.
Yeah. What the first part does is take all the evil and turn it into physical form. To actually dispel it, you have to read the second part.
Which, sure, easy enough. Annie, take it away. And as she's reading, suddenly she stops. Rude. It turns out Ash's hand was still there and was able to grab the dagger and stabs her in the back.
Yep.
That sucks. Also, a giant monster is right at the door. Like, the pure physical form of all evil is a giant face with extra faces.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Reaches in with tree arms, grabs Ash. Luckily, Annie is alive enough to read the rest of the passage. The portal opens up, starts sucking everything away. Annie sadly dies, but that portal's still sucking.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't really figure how to stop this thing. And with that, Ash is sucked into the portal, goes through the multiverse. and then with his car lands in the past with a bunch of knights who are about to execute him. A deadite flying thing comes in. Ash blows its head off, and they all praise him as the savior from the sky. As Ash realizes they set up a sequel and screams "No!" And then the movie ends.
And that was Evil Dead 2. Boy, oh boy, what a great goddamn movie.
Such good. Okay, yeah. Where is there any negatives to get out of the way?
Not much, honestly, like, because it's one of those movies where I feel like the tone of it, at least, you can let a few more like cracks here and there show, but it still kind of works in the whole general tone of the movie. Like the what's well works so well that it kind of cancels out any negative that I would have towards it. It's just a blast to watch every time.
Yeah, like I pointed out, there's some nitpicky jumps in
Yeah.
logic, but it's a horror movie. People make dumb decisions to keep the plot going. That's fine.
Yeah. That's okay.
It's allowed, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I know some people online don't like that in movies, but shut up.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just so well made. But yeah, I don't know. Immediately, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that wouldn't just be really nitpicky. And even then, that's just so minor that I can't remember many.
I think the only negative, and this is purely just because everyone in the cast and crew, still pretty new to making movies.
Yeah.
Some of the dialogue is really corny. Even in the commentary, Bruce Campbell says that he doesn't really count himself as acting until we see Linda's corpse rise, because it's real cornball stuff in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Justin even mentioned before the episode when we were doing the test, it's like the writing is not the strongest part in this movie.
Really not.
But yeah, no. Other than that, yeah, let's get to the fucking good.
Starting like the most broad, the reason I say this is one of the greatest, or is the greatest horror movie, is because it has a bit of everything and it's paced in a way that doesn't like break your neck with its tone.
Yeah, because this isn't a long movie either. Isn't it only like an hour 45 or something?
It's less than, I think it's only like hour 30 something.
Yeah, it's not a long movie and it's paced so well.
But the beginning of the movie, you have a lot more slower atmospheric. Like, yeah, we see Linda in her stop motion body and stuff, but it's still mostly just Ash in the cabin waiting at as something horrible is going to happen, but you don't know what. And since the Deadites can be so surreal, everything gets weirder.
Yeah, exactly. You can just go full on basically acid trip with all this. It's so creative.
You get that slow build, and then it's as the Deadites seem to care less and less about staying hidden, it becomes more of this action horror, and you
Yeah.
get a mix of both genres of like silly 50s monster movie, but also still have the terror and atmosphere of, at the time, modern horror.
Yeah. It's really great and the atmosphere is so good and it just helps with how good the cinematography is, like the shots of the cabin and the smoke and everything, and it's just so well produced.
Yeah, it's a great, if actually the movie is only an hour 25.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a great introduction to horror too. Like,
Yeah.
I honestly think even if someone's squeamish, like, yes, there's a lot of blood,
Yeah.
but it's never like sound design where you hear the squishiness of it or something.
Yeah.
It's always fountains and very watered down paint type deal.
Yeah.
The worst you get is seeing the stump of Ash's arm, but they quickly wrap that up. So
Yeah. And
I was like, you go on because you said and.
yeah. That's fine. Moving on. I just wanted to let you finish your thought before I went on to my thought. I think I was feeling like I put it in too early. I was gonna say, I was just gonna let you go on before I finished it, but then I interrupted early. Moving on.
God damn. Moving right along. No, that's a bit. It's I just love the wide range of it for horror movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And when and the thing that's cool about it is like you said, you have the slow build up, but when shit hits the fan, it really hits the fan, and it's like just so wonderful to watch.
Yeah, and even the we were talking about this before we started. This is a horror movie with comedic moments, but isn't a horror comedy.
Yeah.
Like there's moments of levity. There's little laughs to be had as a good way to like. So even the movie is like, don't take us too seriously. We have the campiness of horror as well, but it does have the good horror. It has good solid horror
Yeah.
moments mixed in.
Just the way it's able to blend tones and so seamlessly is just so impressive, and just really a testament to how good of a filmmaker Sam Raimi is.
Yeah, honestly. Go see Send Help if you haven't yet.
Yeah. And yeah, like I mean, I was reading a bit of Bruce Campbell's autobiography, which I'll quote when we get to more behind the scenes stuff. But he was like, Sam Raimi's such a good filmmaker because every single film he does, he just kind of gets better and better and better at his craft.
But he also always keeps. There's always those shots where it's like, ah, yes, this is a Sam Raimi
Yeah,
movie.
exactly. Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like you could always tell with his weird camera angles, it's just that's a Sam Raimi movie.
This is light tangent, but that's what made Doctor Strange 2 like better and worse is it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, here's corporate scene, Sam Raimi is allowed to direct.
Yeah, because that's one of those weird movies where you can absolutely tell which scenes were in control of Sam Raimi and which ones were studio mandated. It's just interesting.
Here's cool, creepy, or just weird shit going on.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi. The boring story stuff that's saying up like 6 other movies, that's not Sam Raimi.
Nope.
But yeah, just overall is such a good entry point to horror.
Yes.
Even though it's a sequel.
Exactly. And it's also a really nice thing that the movie was able to be released uncut as well.
That's what happens when you use green and black blood.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just a bit about that. Like the original film, Evil Dead 2 had censorship difficulties due to its high level of violence. Because DEG was a member of the Motion Picture Association of America, Raimi was contractually obliged to shoot the film with the intention of it earning an R rating. Upon reviewing the completed film, DEG's executives felt that Evil Dead 2 would almost certainly receive an X rating, which would limit its commercial prospects. Lawrence Gleason, the company's president of marketing and distribution, felt that if it were to be cut for an R, the film, quote, would have been about 62 minutes long, and that both Raimi's vision and the audience's enjoyment would have been sabotaged as a result. Ultimately, DEG decided not to submit to the MPA review or be credited on screen for their involvement in it. Instead, Rosebud Releasing Corporation, a shell company run by Dino De Laurentiis' son-in-law Alex was set up to handle the film's US release, allowing it to be shown unrated. Although Rosebud technically didn't have a distribution network, DEG already booked the film in 340 cinemas around the country, and had created and paid for the film's advertising campaign. Rosebud's logo, a rose blooming in time-lapse photography against a painted sky backdrop, was designed and shot by Raimi himself.
That is technically... Is that from the book or from Wiki?
Wiki, is it wrong?
It's... According to the commentary, it's wrong. Sam didn't shoot that logo. He gave it to an animator.
Okay. Well, just cut that bit out then.
Well, I won't cut it out because I can leave this part in.
Nah, damn it! But that makes
Wiki is wrong.
But that makes me look bad. My research.
No, it makes Wiki look bad.
Yeah, but my research.
This is why we should trust AI to tell us that.
Just have like a civvy-like joke where it's like, this next part was cut because they then went on a rant for an hour about AI. But anyway,
I must have deleted that.
oh, what'd you have?
Oh wait, hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
Ooh.
Because I do have so many videos that are like privated.
What? What is it? What is it?
Okay, so on YouTube, on my channel, there's a lot of old videos that you cannot access anymore because they were when I was like, hold on, let me think here, 11. I had a literal toy camera that could only record for 5 minutes, but you could put an SD card in it. And technically, the last time I reviewed Evil Dead 2 was July 10th of 2009.
Holy fucking shit, dude.
So that was probably the first time I saw Evil Dead.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Uh,
What an interesting bit of history that nobody will ever see.
no one cares.
Anything else to say praising the film? Or should we just move to behind the scenes? Because there's a lot of that too.
I mean, we can mix in behind the scenes and praising the film
Yeah.
because we're going to be praising the practical effects
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and the camera stuff, which go hand in hand with the behind the scenes knowledge.
That is also true. So where should we start?
I don't know.
Well, I guess I'll just start with a fun fact about the genesis of this film because this was not made immediately after Evil Dead 2 or Evil Dead 1.
Anyway, editing is weird.
But yes,
So it wasn't.
sorry.
So it wasn't.
No, it was not. So here is something that's very interesting. So the concept of a sequel to The Evil Dead was discussed during location shooting on the first film. The film's publicist pushed writer-director Sam Raimi to devise a premise for such a film. Working with the screenwriter, he settled on a story in which Ash was sucked through a time portal to the Middle Ages, where he'd encounter more Deadites. Shapiro was enticed by the concept and took out advertisements in trade magazines to promote the project, which was then titled Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead and the Army of Darkness in May 84. So the initial plan was to actually do like Army of Darkness in Evil Dead 2, but then that kind of got pushed aside for budgetary reasons, I guess. But then after Evil Dead 2 was made, then that, well, I guess during writing of Evil Dead 2, then that kind of evolved into saying it to take place after the first film because they realized they couldn't do that eventually. But after Universal Pictures and 20th Century Fox passed on the concept, the next sequel was shelved in favor of Sam Raimi's next film, Crime Wave, which was released in 1985, which was a comedy crime film co-written with the Coen brothers, who Sam Raimi and crew were living with at the time.
Oh, yeah, I do remember
Yeah.
that coming up in the commentary.
And it's a really weird fucking mix of like slapstick humor, film noir, black comedy, Hitchcockian suspense, and B-movie convention. So it was just this weird fucking concept that they tried to do that was apparently heavily sabotaged by the studio. So Raimi apparently cited the experience as one of the least favorite moments of his career. Sam Raimi quotes, "I can't look at it. It's so painful. The experience was just awful. Bruce Campbell was supposed to star. 2 months before, the studio said, no, he's not starring in it. My composer was removed, Joe DeLucia, who did the Evil Dead movies. They didn't let me do a director's cut. They fired my editor about 2 weeks in after we'd done shooting, and they brought the film out of Detroit to Los Angeles. They had their own editor cut it. They just had their own components. It was a mess." Campbell described the film as a lesson about abject failure, writing that no matter how you slice it, the film was a dog, and pretty much everyone involved can line up and take 40 whacks. As filmmakers, we failed to execute a misguided concept, and our studio refused us the benefit of any doubt. And the Coen brothers obviously were also dissatisfied with it. So after that experience, he decided to do a sequel to Evil Dead, the first Evil Dead, just partially out of desperation of that failure.
So Evil Dead 2 is just a movie of spite, technically.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think I've been told to watch Crime Wave.
Yeah, it's actually kind of fallen into like relative obscurity outside fans of like Sam Raimi, Evil Dead, and all that. But it has become kind of a like very minor cult classic.
Huh.
But then that had the quote. We went into production with Evil Dead 2, which was actually, I think, shot in the same town that Steven Spielberg shot The Color Purple.
It's the same woods where the outdoors of the cabin is?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's on the same land as where they shot Color Purple.
Yeah. So that's just how they kind of got started on that. And I cannot praise the cinematography and the angles and just everything enough. It just adds the weird vibe. And the editing is just so brilliant. There's just great transitions. I just want to kind of get just the technical praise out of the way now.
Oh yeah, there's some love. I mean, I didn't even know the one shot when chasing Ash through the cabin that was not a seamless one shot.
Yeah. That because the exterior was in a different location, and once it crashes through the door, it's the set.
Yeah, the set which was in a high school, and technically you can see the top of the set while they're running around.
Yeah, and something that's hilarious that's from the book. This is from Bruce Campbell. The crumbling local high school was our command center. Sets were built in the gymnasium, dailies were screened in the auditorium, and the library made for a fine production office. The school cafeteria didn't have to double for anything because we used it to cook our crew meals.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it was a two-floor set because unlike the first movie where
Yeah.
the cellar was a completely different location, they did build it there.
That's cool. Nice. Yeah, and just the attention to detail. Like you said, they like built the back of it for the mirror scene, and just the way they're able to blend all the different locations and sets together just speaks volumes about the level of craft behind this, especially from people who were still pretty inexperienced at the time, admittedly by themselves.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite camera shots, and when it's explained to me, is like, well, obviously that's how it's done, but when the demon is chasing Ash back to the cabin, there's a moment where it goes through the windshield of the car and out the back.
Yeah, it's so impressive looking.
And then it turns out it was just a camera on a pole, and they went, bam!
Yep. And the excerpts I'm reading are from Bruce Campbell's autobiography, If Chins Could Kill, Confessions of a B-Movie Actor, which I highly recommend. It's a good book. But, yeah, that was called the RamoCam. One such contraption was the RamoCam, a higher budget version of its Evil Dead counterpart. This consisted of a 20-foot iron pole attached to a rolling cart with the camera mounted at the end of it. This device was designed to puncture the rear window of the car, then proceed through the length of the car and burst out the front. 26 takes and 6 windshields later, we got in the can.
And if I may, I recommend getting the Blu-ray and listening to the commentary because it has Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, and the effects artists, which they mentioned the RamoCam and that it's made of iron. All of a sudden, the special effects guy cuts in and is like, wouldn't it have been easier to make it out of like aluminum? It would have been a lot lighter. And Sam Raimi just goes, yeah, it would have.
That's just Sam Raimi, man. That's just how he is.
Well, it sounded very much like yeah, we know that now, jackass.
Yeah, it would have. It's like a very mocking type thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gonna go somewhere, and my brain just stopped.
Very good.
Do you want to talk about the other setup?
Sure. We talked about the RamoCam. Now let's talk about the SamoCam. So the SamoCam was used as a device for the one shot where it's the very end of the first movie. He gets flown through the trees and spun around and stuff. And so it was literally Bruce Campbell like attached to a giant X. He says, the mother of all rigs was the SamoCam. This hellish device was a rotating cast iron X that was attached to the end of a crane arm. I was lashed to this X and spun around in either direction and at variable speeds. Vern, the mechanical effects coordinator, tried to make small talk as he strapped me in. So, Bruce, what'd you have for breakfast? Why do you ask? Because I'll be right below you. I want to know what's coming at me. And there was literally a joystick that he used to spin him around on that cross. And he said Sam was at the remote controls. I was his very own Game Boy for an entire day. And this was all to get one shot.
Yeah, Bruce is a bit bitter about this in the commentary.
Mm-hmm. Because he went through so much. I can't praise Bruce Campbell enough in this. Just the physicality that he had to endure for this role.
He did have a stunt actor. They used him once.
Which one, out of curiosity?
I don't remember where. I think it was for when he crashes the car and goes through the windshield.
Mm.
No, wait, that was a dummy.
Oh, okay.
That was a dummy. I forget where they used the stunt actor, but they only used him once or twice.
That's so funny.
Um, also, if this sounds like too complicated of a setup, don't worry. When Ash is being chased through the cabin, they just put a camera on the front of a dirt bike and chased him around.
Yeah, it's like a very low budget like indie way to do a dolly. It's great.
That's that is the great thing about this movie. Like, yeah, there are some shots and effects that look cheap, but you can feel how much everyone wanted to make this movie and how they're doing their damn best, which makes it
Yeah.
more heartwarming in a way.
Yeah, it's very endearing, just the craft behind it. Yeah, you can tell that they wanted to be there. And yeah, they went through hell, but everyone knew what they were doing. It's just everyone clicked creatively. They knew what they wanted to do. It's just, I think that's why it turned out so beautifully. They just had so many talented people that they were able to find.
Yeah. Also, endearing was the word I was looking for, but my brain didn't want to work.
You're good. And then there's poor Ted.
Okay, we could feel a bit bad for Ted because he was sweaty as hell in that thing.
Yeah.
However, he looks like he's having a wonderful time.
Oh yeah, like the performance he gives is awesome. So I do have some stuff about that as well.
Oh.
So, Ted Raimi would be happy to offer up a few words about temperature, both external and internal. Sam assumed that because his brother was both young and eager, he could get him to play the heinous horror hag. To accomplish the desired look, Ted was fitted with a foam bodysuit complete with monster feet. It took a full 5 hours to get him ready for the camera. Bear in mind, the temperature outside was at least 100 degrees with 85% humidity. Inside the gymnasium, with poor ventilation and tungsten lights, it hovered around 110 degrees.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The makeup effects crew carried a video camera everywhere they went and documented Ted's waking hours on and off the set. My favorite image was one of the guys pouring the sweat from Ted's monster booties into a series of Dixie cups.
There is also a behind the scenes shot. I think it was this movie and not the first one, like
Yeah.
we've said in a few episodes.
Yeah.
Where they take off the fooey and just goes into a fucking bucket.
It's insane, yeah. At one point in the film, Ted's character had to spin around in the air and cause general havoc. To do that, he was fitted for a flying harness. Depending on where they are attached to your body, those things will either dig into your groin, pinch your hips, or restrict your breathing. Ted's harness, I suspect, did a little of all three. On top of that, Ted had to wear those damned white contact lenses. Technology had improved greatly since 1979, but those lenses were still oversized and could not be left in indefinitely. Ted's biggest challenge, over and above everything else, was to deliver a high-energy performance. His big scene arrived and he was spun in the air, take after take. Crew members standing nearby were splattered with flying sweat. In the finished film, look closely as Ted spots my character and bellows fiercely. You'll see a stream of sweat pouring out a slit in the makeup around his ear.
With those contacts, Bruce fucking hates them too.
Yeah, don't worry, he's not the only one. So it says, in between takes, Ted was lowered to the floor and propped up on an apple box. When not gulping cups of Gatorade, an oxygen mask was clamped over his face until the next setup. And about this experience, Ted had to say, "It was worth it," Ted explained later. "It got me into the Screen Actors Guild." Great.
Also, I think it's Greg Nicotero who is on the commentary tracks. This was K&B Effects, like in their early days.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah. K&B does a lot of special effects. I can't even list all the movies they've done.
Yeah.
Nor am I going to try very hard to Google them right now to tell you.
Exactly, yeah. They, if you're in filmmaking, you know.
If you're a horror fan or you watch like Dead
Yeah.
Meat, you've heard about K&B.
Yes. Oh well, but I have only one more behind the scenes thing, and that was about the blood scene, and that one is crazy. So, Another effect called for a blood flood. To get the visual of liquid traveling horizontally at great speeds, trick photography was required. To do this, we built a portion of the set sideways. The camera was also tilted, thereby resulting in a normal-looking perspective. This meant, however, that to assume a standing position, I would actually have to lie sideways, supported by a board. Above me, a 55-gallon drum of fake blood was mounted, with a bathtub-sized plug. The idea was to pull the plug and I'd get hit full force. Sam, okay now, Bruce, if something goes wrong and you're drowning, wave your arms. Bruce, but that's what I'm supposed to be doing anyway. How will you know the difference? Sam looked at me blankly, then turned to the mechanical effects guy. Sam, how long will the blood last? Effects guy, long enough to empty 55 gallons. Sam, huh. Good point. Okay, let's shoot it.
What a prank!
I know. He said, I lived to tell the tale, but every time I blew my nose for the next 2 weeks, the snot was bright red. And about that fake blood, this is just crazy. So, the remaining weeks were spent spinning, getting doused with perhaps the highest volume of fake blood ever recorded on film, and napping with a fly swatter. Do you know why he had a fly swatter?
Because it was like cherry juice.
Yep. Out of sheer bullheadedness, I had insisted on using the original, time-tested Caro syrup formula from the first Evil Dead film. The visual effect was nice, but I became the object of desire for every fly in Wadesboro.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah. That's just some fun shit I have about behind the scenes. But yeah, that's just, as you can tell, just making this movie was insane. But it turned into such a wonderful product, and honestly, just what's considered one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Like, it took the first movie, and some would argue improved on the formula.
Like, this is an opinion that I'll fight on, but I do get kind of confused when people tell me they like the first one more.
Yeah.
But maybe it's the charm of it being even cheaper, like some literally people's first movie type deal.
Exactly. So I get that. Yeah, they're about equal to me in my eyes, because I remember I didn't like the first one as much at first, but upon rewatching it for the show, I was like, okay, you know what? No, this is actually a really solid, straight up horror movie.
I wouldn't say they're equal. I definitely like this one
Yeah.
more, but the first movie is still a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'll say personally, yes, I like Evil Dead 2 more than the first one. Just just putting aside my personal feelings, like critically, I don't know.
I had something. Oh, I mean, we also have to say if we ever make merch,
Yeah.
I still want this shirt, but this is definitely one of those times of it looks dangerous because it probably was.
Oh yeah. Just throughout this making of basically the entire Evil Dead series, there has always been real danger to everybody, and it's a miracle nobody has died.
One thing I love is in the attacking of Ash's girlfriend Linda is the same in the first movie and this one, where something breaks in through a window.
Yep.
But you can see very much in the sequel that they actually use candy glass this time instead of real glass.
Yes. Because that was actually really fucking dangerous.
That was insanely dangerous in the
Yeah.
first movie. Also, just one really good effect is when Ash is first on the sun infected, and you see the white leave his eye. That was actually done in K&B's parking lot.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they just got because you can't really, effects are good, but they weren't that good in the 80s to get a close up like that, so they
Yeah.
just made a giant eye and then sucked out the smoke basically.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, it worked.
It looks seamless.
Yeah. That's awesome.
There's even a bunch of shots that were reshoots of Ash running around in the woods, but I can't tell. it looks like it was all shot in the same amount of time type deal.
It does. Like, and Bruce Campbell mentioned how he actually did like lose a lot of weight and started like working out and bumping up and all of that. But he said if you watch the movie, like no one really would notice this besides him. But because it was shot out of sequence, technically throughout the movie you can see the before workout, during workout, and after workout versions of him.
All at different times.
Yeah. Like anything when he's shirtless is clearly afterwards.
The, young Bruce Campbell. Damn.
Yeah. As a man that's always looked good.
Yeah, honestly, even in his old age.
Yeah.
Damn.
Damn. Exactly. But yeah, anything else you can think of?
I also like that this, at least by the end of the movie, this is where we actually start to see Ash, the character who is known now through like the TV show and Army of Darkness. He becomes a lot more of that cool guy instead of the first movie where he's honestly just another survivor.
Yeah, exactly. Like you actually get to see Bruce turn into like the people's hero that he would eventually become.
The people's hero, who's kind of an ass.
Yeah. That's just what I love about Ashley's character is that like he's an asshole at times and he may not be like genius or whatever, but he gets the job done. He's smart enough to get his way through, very practical. He may be very impatient, but he does his shit.
Also, you know what's something I find fun? This is just a random fact that's more Evil Dead as a whole than this movie.
Uh-huh.
Because in the show, remember how he wanted to go to Jacksonville, Florida?
Yes.
He lives in Jacksonville, but not Florida. I think it's Oregon or Washington.
Yeah, something like that. Isn't that where they shot it?
No, I don't know if they shot it there.
I don't know. I just remember a lot of woods.
I just find funny that now he does live in Jacksonville.
Yeah. Or I think it may have been that the pilot was and the rest of the series wasn't. Something like that.
We're still behind the scenes of the show. We're still debating what we're doing with TV series. Like we're still gonna finish Preacher.
Yeah.
But there is a part of me that wants to cover Ash versus Evil Dead because that series is good.
Oh, it's a bitchin' series. And fun fact, we watched about 90% of it.
We never finished season 3.
We literally had 3 episodes to go.
Yeah, but we took like such a long break, and then it was like we'd have to restart season 3, and season 3 has issues.
It does at the beginning. I've heard like it started getting interesting, and we were starting to get into it, and then we just kind of stopped.
Then stuff came up. I think it wasn't like we stopped. It was I think school was getting in the way a lot. It's just like I don't feel like sitting through this right now.
Yep.
But as always on this show, we need to rate this movie, and we'll use our system that we've always used. So, Cameron.
Yes, Justin?
What would Another Dimension rate this movie?
Oh, I think Another Dimension would love this movie, honestly, man. This is one of those movies that's just timeless, you know? It doesn't matter what dimension you're in. You could be in the 4th dimension, man. Just, you know... Even 4th dimensional beings, 5th dimensional beings, why not 6th dimensional beings? Even though they might perceive it differently, I don't know. But I think they would feel the love emanating from it with their dimensional time travel.
I personally think they would name it a Scabadoo. Sipado Abadi. You know, the Sims universe. I think that's their rating at least.
Yeah, at the very least.
But anyway.
Is it time for the whole concept of the show?
It's time for the gimmick!
Woo!
So, of course, we're going to have to spin a wheel. We are on our last spin of the sellout wheel.
Yes.
On this wheel, we have a bunch of series that you have heard of, and thus, when we do an episode, you can be like, oh, I know that movie, and then recommend it to friends, because your friends also watch good movies, I assume. Or bad movies. There's a couple of bad ones on here, possibly at some point.
Yeah.
However, I am bringing up a rule at the moment. Because we know the last 2 movies that are... Well, okay, I won't say the last 2, but at least last on here is going to be Bond.
Yes.
Bond is 25 movies, and the wheels only let us cover 3. So we're thinking we're implementing a rule of wild magic for Bond. For those who don't know D&D, you can have quote unquote wild magic. With this, you will have a magic surge anytime you cast a spell, meaning it can go horribly wrong or horribly right. And it's basically you'll after you cast a spell, you roll another die. First, if you land on a 1, magic surge. But if you miss, then you're fine. However, it moves up then next time you roll, it will be 1 and 2 will cause a magic surge, and so on.
Yes.
So, after we spin the sellout wheel 4 times, the next time we come back to it, Bond will gain an extra space. It will keep doing this until we land on Bond. So hopefully, the longest we'll go is like 3 times.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Otherwise, we're gonna land on Bond, and then... Or we won't land on Bond, and then somehow the wheel will have like 5 Bond tiles, and we'll be a dick about it.
Yup. Random chance. But anyway.
But we're going to be doing that with Bond for now on the series wheel. And once the series wheel is done, we have other plans for it so we can actually move on from this damn thing.
Yep.
Either we'll have like a whole Bond month, or we will have another way to decide if we watch a Bond movie every 4 movies. We're still kind of deciding on that. We will see in the future.
Yes. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
But for now, it is time to spin. You're such a fucking tease wheel.
What we get?
I'd like to note it was literally like less than a centimeter from landing on Bond.
That would have been a real treat.
That would have been nice. We wouldn't have, that whole tirade wouldn't have even mattered because we wouldn't have had another space for Bond.
Yep.
But instead, actually, a fun tie-in because we forgot to mention a little sight gag in Evil Dead. Inside the shed, you can see Freddy's glove because in the first Nightmare on Elm Street, they're watching Evil Dead. Ooh. And we'll see if they want to reference this movie in Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Let's go!
So that's what we're doing next time. I'm so happy we're getting all these horror movies in March and April.
I know, right? Thanks, Wheel.
Thanks, Wheel. So, yeah, that's that's what next time will be. We'll get to see some effects from Screaming Mad George instead of K&B.
Oh, Screaming Mad George. Legend.
Anyway, we'll see you next time. Next time.
Bye.